Are you thinking about buying a home right now? Perhaps you've been saving some down payment and you finally found a bank that is willing to lend you some money. Or maybe you just inherited a bunch of cash and you are itching to buy a home. Do not make any move until you've watched this video till the very end. In this video, I'll be disclosing why you should hold off and pump the brakes on buying a house right now. Buying a house is a huge financial investment, and for the most part, it is the largest investment that you will make in your lifetime. Generally, owning a home is regarded as one of the best ways to build your net worth and grow your wealth. A lot of people don't understand this, but there are times when buying a home makes no sense and should be highly discouraged. Getting stuck with a home, or even worse, getting trapped by a mortgage, is something a lot of people regret because they do not pay attention to everything I'm about to talk about in this video. While some of these reasons I'm about to discuss in this video seem very obvious, a lot of people miss these points all the time. And depending on where you are currently in life, that is the current stage you find yourself in right now, and everything else going on around you, it might be a better idea for you to hold off on buying and rent a house instead. To be clear, I own my home and I have bought and sold several houses, so I am by no means against buying a home, and I am not trying to knock your hustle if you're trying to buy a home, but just pay attention and stick with me. Hopefully, if you stick around to the end of this video, you will discover the top reasons why you should not be buying a house right now. Before we dive in, if this is your first time stopping by this channel, welcome. Consider subscribing now to join this amazing community to stay informed on the latest helpful videos for your financial wellness and financial success. And if you've been watching this channel but yet to subscribe, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button now. One more thing, drop a like on this video to help other people find this video quicker. Okay, let's jump right in. So what are the top 10 reasons for you not to buy a house at this time? The very first reason is that you want flexibility. So let me explain this. Flexibility is for people who don't want to commit to a certain place and a certain environment all the time. So if you are not willing to commit to being at a place for at least a few number of years, ideally anywhere between 5 to 7 years, if you are not committed to doing that, it is not ideal for you to buy a home. Sometimes maybe short term for like 2 or 3 years. But if you feel like you want to up or move every 6 months, buying a house is not something you should be thinking about right now. If you have the money, you could put your money to a better use if you do not want to be strapped down by a house. So for people who want to be flexible, who want to just get up and go wherever they want, whenever they choose to, buying a home right now is not something you should do. You are better off renting. Unless you are a real estate expert, typically most people who try to negotiate homes or sell their homes remotely or from a long distance always end up taking a loss, and you don't want that to be you. Number 2, so the second reason for you not to be buying a home right now is if the area you live in is highly exposed to natural disasters. So here's the deal, a lot of places do have natural disasters, and that's okay, but the problem lies when you are prone to a high level of natural disasters. So things like flooding, you don't want to be in a flood zone. So if you live in an area where there are hurricanes, wildfires, tornadoes, and flooding all the time, like high amount of these natural disasters, you basically want to stay away from buying a home in these areas. And you may be wondering, why should I stay away from buying a home if I live in these areas? If I grew up in these areas, why should I hold off on buying a home right now? Here's the deal. Unless you are willing to shell out a bunch of cash to insurance companies, stay away from buying a home in an area that has a high tendency or is prone to high natural disasters. So if you want to save your money, if you want to have some money left in your pocket, stay away from this, because the insurance premium is always super high for areas like the flood zones or areas that are exposed to high levels of natural disaster. So that's one thing you should keep in mind if you're thinking about buying a home and you live in areas like this right now. Number 3. So number 3 is something that sounds so simple, yet it is a very huge deal. And number 3 is if you are horrible at maintenance. So if you suck at maintenance, you should not buy a home right now, because here's the deal. If you live in an apartment, chances are that the maintenance is already taken care of for you. And even if you have to do some maintenance, it's just little things here and there, maybe cutting the grass and something occasionally. But when you own a home, there are things like gutter cleaning. There's some routine maintenance that you do have to perform during the winter, the summer months, and every season comes with its own maintenance schedule. So if you are not ready, or if you are horrible and you suck at doing that and you are not willing to pay someone to do that for you, then I would say by all means stay away from buying a home right now and go rent a place for yourself or your family. Number 4, you just started a new job. So if you just started a new job, it is not the time to run off and go buy a property. So here's what usually happens. People get so excited and they get so carried away when they land a job that they think or they believe is going to be long term. And what happens is they have not tested the environment. They don't know the area. They don't know the neighborhoods. They don't even know if they're going to be on the job for a while. So the rule of thumb here is if you have not stayed there for at least 6 months to study the area, I would not go in to buy a home unless you have someone else like the company providing the funds for that home. But even at that, if you just landed a new job, I would say rent your place for some time, rent your home for some time, and then when you feel like you're comfortable at the job and you're comfortable with the area and you do see yourself long term on that job, you can proceed to buy a home. So if you are not sure about the longevity of your job, or you just landed a new job and you are new in town, stay away from buying a home immediately you jump into town, unless maybe you do have another contingency plan. But by all means, if you have no plans in place and you just got a new job, stay away from buying a home right away. So number 5 is if your relationship is unstable. So what do I mean by this? People go through different phases in their relationship, and people who are going through rocky phases in their relationship have no business buying a home. Because if you are going through some divorce or you are going through a separation right now with your spouse or whoever, the deal is stay away from buying a house. Even if you feel like you have to buy a house, it is not ideal to buy a house during these situations because you never know how things are going to turn out. And if things do take the wrong turn, you may be stuck with a home that you cannot liquidate easily and get out of. So know where you are with your relationship, and if your relationship seems to be unstable and not headed to the right direction or where you want it to head to, I would desist from buying a home and just stay put in an apartment or rent a home where you live. Number 6. So the number 6 reason to not buy a home right now is when you have no emergency fund. A lot of times people think it's all about putting down the down payment and running off and getting the bank to approve the loan for you. But there's a lot more than that when it comes to owning a home. When it comes to owning a home, you do have some maintenance, you do have some repairs, and you do have other extra costs that is not just the down payment and your mortgage. So you may be thinking, oh yeah, I do bring back some money that covers my mortgage. But the question is, do you have an emergency fund? If your hot water heater goes out tonight, are you able to shell out $2,000 to pay for a brand new 40-gallon water heater? So it's really important for you to have an emergency fund. And experts, financial experts, say that you need to have around 6 months of your living expenses stashed away in case of emergencies. So if you don't have that before you buy a house, the first thing you need to do once you get your down payment is to start saving up for emergency. So you need to have emergency funding just in case something goes wrong with your job or maybe in the house. Let's just say you lose your job and you are no longer able to get your monthly income. Your emergency fund is going to help to pay for your mortgage. So this is not just for repairs or for major expenses. It also applies in case you lose your job. That way you are not stranded and facing foreclosure. Number 7. Number 7 goes hand in hand with number 6, but I decided to break this one out because this one is really important. And this is when you can't afford the bills that come with the home. So what do I mean by the bills that come with the home? A lot of times when people go in to buy a home, your banker doesn't tell you about the utilities. Your banker does not tell you about the HOA. Your banker does not tell you about the sewer bill, the water bill, the trash, and everything else you have to pay in terms of fees. All the banker gives you in a statement is the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So that's your PITI. Those 4 costs are what you get, and that's what most people in their mind when they go to buy a home use to rate the affordability. So when it comes to buying a home, if you cannot afford the other bills that comes with buying a home, stay away from buying a home, because when you're renting, chances are that you do have lower bills, especially if you live in an apartment. Number 8. So number 8 is when you cannot afford a home in a good area. Most times people don't think about the nature of the area where they go buy a home. Sometimes they just feel, oh, the home looks nice, let me just go buy this home. It's big enough, it has enough square footage. No, you absolutely want to pay attention to the area, not just because of appreciation, but you want to be paying attention to how safe the neighborhood is. You want to pay attention to the resale values in that area, and you want to pay attention to how the school district is in that area. What is the rating or the ranking of the school district? Because if you do plan on having kids, or if you already have kids, you do not want your kids to go to school districts that are very, very low rated. You want your kids to go to good school districts, so the neighborhood you buy in affects the kind of life and the kind of school that your kids attend. So if you're buying a home right now and the home is not in a good area, you want to stay away from buying that home, and you want to pump the brakes and hold up until you have enough funds to buy a home in a better area. Now, this is by no means knocking against people who live in bad areas. It's understandable, but this is a personal decision that you have to make for yourself and decide if you want to put yourself or your family in an area that is not safe. Number 9. So number 9 reason is one that gets people all the time, and this is when you are under pressure. So when you are under pressure, external or internal pressure, it's not a good time to buy a home. Here's why. When you do something that you don't want to do just because people are pushing you to do it, you don't feel fulfilled and you feel like that stuff is a burden to you. That said, in order to make your home not feel like a burden or make your home feel more stressful to you, you just want to stay away from pressure. So if people around you are buying homes, or people around you are telling you, hey, you do have enough money, why not go buy a home? And you know within yourself that you don't want to buy a home, do not go in and buy that home just to please other people or just to make sure that you are complying with the status quo and keeping up with everyone or everything around you. So if you feel under some kind of pressure right now to buy a home, this is not a good reason to buy a home, and you need to pump your brakes and stay away from buying a home at this very point in time. Number 10. So number 10 is one that applies to a unique group of people, and these are people who are in retirement or people who are close to retiring. So here's the deal. If you are close to retiring, do not go in and buy a home. That is something that some financial experts have discouraged, and they highly oppose you buying a home when you know that you're close to retirement. Not because you don't have the money or you're not able to foot the bill. It's just the other responsibilities that do come with owning a home. If you do want a better quality of life during your retirement, it may be better for you to go rent a place and have a landlord do all the maintenance work for you. So you may want to rent a place that is fully serviced, meaning that the place has people cutting the lawns for you, people doing everything for you, and you don't have to lift a finger. Ultimately, when it comes to buying a home, it all boils down to these 2 points: affordability and sustainability. For affordability, you don't want to stretch yourself beyond your financial limit. You always want to make sure that you are living within or below your means. So do not go out there and pick up a home that is stretching you beyond what you can afford. Remember, just because the bank says you can afford a home does not mean you can afford it. It all boils down to the bills and the other factors included that you have not calculated. So before you buy a home, you want to pay attention to these factors that I've disclosed in this video, and take a note and write down the cost of every single bill that you will anticipate when you own the home. On the other hand, you may be able to afford a home, but that does not mean that the home is affordable for your lifestyle. And what do I mean by that? So some people have the money to foot the bills and buy the home, but guess what? They are not flexible. Guess what? This is not the point in time for them to buy due to how the family is set up, due to the family situation and other things surrounding their job and their lifestyle. So if you do feel like buying a home will impede on your happiness, your satisfaction, your fulfillment, and also encroach into your lifestyle, it may be worth it to just pump the brakes on buying that home and keep renting instead. Because at the end of the day, you are not buying this home to create more stress or bring more stress into your life. You are buying this home as something that you will enjoy, something that you will cherish, and something that you feel fulfilled and accomplished. All right, so now that you know the 10 reasons to not buy a home right now, if you feel like you gained some insight from watching this video, give this video a thumbs up and feel free to share this video with other people to help empower them on their journey to financial success and financial wellness. And one more thing, if you have not subscribed to this channel, be sure to do that now to avoid missing out on the latest helpful videos for your financial success. See you in the next video. Keep winning and stay safe.